when you're on this journey, a lot of weak men and weak women are going to call you respecting yourself and loving yourself arrogant. They're going to call it stuck up. High maintenance is the term that manipulative, lazy, weak-ass men give women because they know that they could never measure up. What's up, it's Carly and welcome back to another video. I know everyone was expecting a law of attraction video straight up, but I really wanted to do this video because, you know, two things. One, I love telling people how to live their lives, and two, I'm a fucking Leo. If I haven't already mentioned that, hyping people up is what I do best. And plus, I really want this to kind of set the tone for the type of videos I'm gonna be putting out here, because I don't just want it to be me talking about anal the whole time, or lack thereof. So when I first did the Q&A thing for my first video, I had literally like 20 different questions on how to build self-confidence, how are you so confident, how to get over a boy you like, how to get over toxic men, how to raise your self-esteem, blah blah blah, you know, the whole works. Pretty much just how to love yourself, hence the title of this video. So I thought instead of boring everyone who wanted to hear me talk about sex and anal, I would make it a separate video, and that way I can really, you know, say everything that's in my mind and, you know, I guess just have a better explanation on my little tips and tricks on how I'm such an arrogant bitch. So sorry if I didn't answer your question in the first Q&As, but also not sorry because you get a whole last video on it. So I'm going to take you through a 3-step process of how to love yourself. They all go hand in hand. They're all equally as important, and I'm telling you, you cannot have one without the other. So I'm going to start off with a little bit about my journey, just to let you guys know a little bit of background, because I've copped a lot of the time, oh, it's easy for you to say, or you've had a good life, or you're pretty, it's easy for you to say. Like, come on, let's be real here. It doesn't matter if you're fucking Kim Kardashian or if you're a homeless person on the street. We all have our struggles. We all have our shit that we need to go through, and I wouldn't be the bitch I am today without learning these things. And I'm not gonna front, I've always been a naturally confident person. I've never come across as an insecure person, I guess. Confidence has always come very easily for me, but self-love has not, and self-respect has not, and self-awareness has not. I used to hate myself. I don't know, it's so weird because I always loved myself, but I hated myself. I had that very irrational, self-loathing brain when I was younger. There was 3 really defining moments for me to how I found myself. The first one was my personal awakening. I like to call it a personal awakening because I've had different experiences with different kind of things, if that makes sense. My personal awakening was when I was about 15 to 16. So I self-harmed from age 10 to pretty much forever, really. I'm not gonna lie, I still have moments every now and then where I slip up, but when I was younger it was really bad. I can go a year without anything now, but when I was younger I, you know, did my thing every day. So when I had that personal awakening, I kind of just woke up and I was like, what the fuck am I doing to myself? I looked at my body and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I putting all these scars all over my body? Why am I putting myself through all this shit to, you know, release some pain which could easily be dealt with if I just put in the effort to love myself and better my life? And I always say that to people. I understand it's such a hard process because you can become so addicted to the sadness that, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, I want to be happy, but sometimes you don't actually want to be happy, because the sadness and the darkness, it can be so comforting. It can be so comfortable. It really can. And I was so addicted to it. I wasn't just addicted to self-harming. I was addicted to the whole darkness, just feeling so down because it's so addictive. Anyway, and then I had my spiritual awakening. That was when I was about 19. It was the summer of 2017 going to 2018. I kind of just found a few YouTube videos on law of attraction, manifesting, all of that kind of stuff. I was always really spiritual, but that kind of just sparked my interest a little bit more. As my interest was growing, my mum gave me this book that her friend gave her, and she was like, you need to read this. And I was like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll read it, not really knowing what it was about. It was called The Power of Now. When I tell you that book changed my life, I'm not exaggerating in the slightest, man. It changed my life, and that shaped the next year of my life. I kind of had the spiritual awakening and I was in pure fucking bliss for 6 months straight. I was living my best life. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, seriously, I felt incredible. I feel like my angels or the universe or whatever sent me this book and I read it and I was like, holy shit, like this is it. Anyway, my third defining moment was after my breakup. I'm pretty sure everybody goes through this. It's kind of like the after breakup glow up, if you will. But yeah, I basically started seeing my current boyfriend and he kind of showed me a side to myself that I never knew existed. And I hate to sound corny or whatever, but he really did help me find myself. Because my ex brought out this side of me that was really, I like to say he brought out the light in me, but Luke brought out my darkness. And I know that sounds negative. When I say darkness, I mean he brought out my rebellion, he brought out my mischievous side, he brought out my flirty side again. He really empowered me sexually. He really just brought out all of those cheeky, fun traits of mine that I kind of lost. So that gave me literally like a complete personality change in the best way possible. I have never felt so comfortable with myself. Anyway, moving on to our 3 main points. Number 1 is self-love. I know this one is probably the most obvious one and the most talked about one, but it's really only step 1 of the process of really finding peace within yourself and building confidence and, you know, loving yourself from within. So to master self-love, you really just got to tackle the mental and spirit. It's all about your thought processes. It's all about the way you talk to yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you take care of yourself, the way you love yourself. Now to build self-love, you have to get control of your thought processes. With spirituality, it teaches you that your thoughts aren't you. For example, you know when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm fat. Changing those thought processes will change that to, I'm not fat, I have fat, and that's okay. Make it a negative thought into a neutral thought. So instead of saying, I am fat, you now say, I have fat, which is true. Everybody has fat. You wouldn't be alive if you didn't have fat. Another example would be when you're sad and you're like, oh, I'm so depressed. You're not depressed. You're you. You're whatever your name is. That's who you are. You are your soul. You are not depressed. You may feel depressed. You may feel sad, but you're not depressed. See what I mean? Another tip for self-love is to think logically. So this is to quit being irrational. I know when I was in my very dark stage in my life when I was younger, my thoughts were so irrational. And that was like the huge killer for me because I had friends, I had people that loved me, my family loved me, I had a good life, but it was my thoughts that were getting into my head, obviously because they're thoughts. It was my thoughts that were convincing me that everybody hated me, that I was worthless, that I, didn't deserve anything. It was my thoughts that made my reality such a dark place. So once you can start thinking logically and quit being irrational about things, your life ultimately becomes easier to deal with. A tip for how to do this, I feel the easiest way is to assess the situation from third person. So step outside of your experience and assess the situation. Is it really as bad as you think it is? And if that's too hard, imagine if it was your best friend saying this. Somebody who you know is so loved by you, by everyone around them. If they were to say everybody hates me, you'd be like, no, they don't. It's the same for you. Not everybody hates you, man. You're fine. Another fun way is my favorite, self-care. Anything that you need to do to take care of yourself. So for me, what I do is face masks, skincare. I go on nature walks. That's my version of self-care. Getting outside really grounds me and it really just brings me back down to earth. It could be anything for you. Self-care might even look like binging Netflix for a day straight. If that's what you need to do to put yourself in a better place, then by all means do it. Nobody can tell you what self-care looks like for you. Obviously, be reasonable about it. If you've just spent the last week watching Netflix, maybe watching Netflix for another day straight isn't really self-care. Another tip for self-love, stop judging others so you can stop judging yourself. You only judge people because whatever they're doing makes you uncomfortable because you fear at some point in your consciousness that if you were to do that thing, people would judge you too. That is the only reason. So to be able to unlock the code, to be able to do whatever you want and not fear judgment, it's to stop judging other people. You know when you're younger and your mum says, treat people how you want to be treated? It's the same thing. If you don't want anybody to judge you, don't judge other people. How can you expect people to be kind and nurturing to you if you're not going to do the same to them? Number 2, now when I hear the term self-respect, I automatically jump on defense because you only ever hear people talking about self-respect when it's in a way to control women and what they want to do and basically slut shame. Now I want to make a point very fucking clear right now. Self-respect has nothing to do with what you post, with what you wear, how many people you've slept with, if you swear. Oh my god, I'm spitting bars now. and it has everything to do with the things I'm about to mention. Number one, eating well. Now, this isn't to say that you're not allowed to have cheat days or whatever. You're allowed to treat yourself. Just stop eating crap day after day after day. How do you expect to feel good if you're feeding your body with shit? You cannot feel good unless you are nourishing yourself. You are going to feel run down. You are going to feel sluggish. And this isn't to say that you're not allowed to treat yourself. You are, obviously. It's just you need to be nourishing your body 80% of the time. You cannot have self-respect if you do not respect what goes into your body. You need to give back to your body because it is constantly working. It works overtime. It does not stop to keep you alive. The least you could do is eat a fucking apple every now and then. My second point ties into that. Move your body. This sack of flesh that you have, it wants to be moved. I'm sure everybody knows this. After you exercise, you feel great. Why? Because your body is saying fucking thank you. I was so bored before. Put the phone down, go outside, exercise. Also, know your worth. When you realize your worth, people respect you more. It's the energy you give out. People respond to that. It's not a conscious thing. You don't go, oh, that girl doesn't respect herself, I'm going to treat her like shit. It's just when people can sense that you are going to let them get away with whatever, they will test that. They're gonna test your boundaries. An analogy I saw somewhere, I think it was in a YouTube video, so credits to whoever this was. Imagine you're in a car, right? You've hopped into your mate's car, there's rubbish everywhere. There's ciggy butts on the floor, there's a bong, there's shit everywhere, there's KFC wrappers on the floor. How comfortable are you going to be to take the wrapper off whatever you're eating and just chuck it on the floor? I'm betting very. You're not gonna think twice about it because this person already treats their car like trash. They're not gonna notice one other little wrapper on the floor, are they? But if you walk into your rich auntie's Beamer and she's got everything pristine, it smells like the fresh car smell, are you gonna leave an empty bottle in that car? Fuck no! Because she takes care of it. She knows the worth of a car. She's not gonna treat it like shit. Same goes to you. Know your worth and you won't treat yourself like shit, and people aren't gonna treat you like shit because they know that you're not gonna put up with that. If you want to respect yourself, don't chase people that don't want you. I promise you, if he hasn't made you his girl already, he doesn't want you. You're just convenient for him or her. My boyfriend asked me out 4 times before I said yes. 4 times. I'm telling you right now, if that boy wants you, he will make you his. And if he's not making you his, he doesn't want you. Move on. Don't just accept anybody's love or energy. You gotta wait around for that right person. And you know what? Don't even fucking wait around for that right person. Make yourself that right person. Don't waste time on wanting people to want you or wanting a boyfriend or wanting a girlfriend. You're wasting your life, and we're so young. We're so fucking young. It's time to live our fucking lives. Don't waste it on, oh, does he love me back? Oh, I want a boyfriend but nobody wants me. Just quit the shit. Fall in love with yourself and go live life. If you know your worth, then by the time somebody does come around, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, yes, finally somebody loves me. When that moment comes, you're gonna be like, okay, but what do you have to offer me? Because I'm cool by myself. I'm comfortable over here. I don't need you. I don't need anyone. So how are you going to benefit me and my life? Or am I just wasting my time? Every time I say to somebody, you just gotta wait for the right person to come around. So many of my friends have said to me, oh, but then I'm just gonna be alone forever. And then nobody's gonna love me. First of all, you're wrong. You've got your whole life ahead of you to find love. My grandma's only just found her soulmate and she's 80, I don't fucking know, 80 old. Second of all, even if you are forever alone, you have to be okay with that. You cannot love yourself unless you are okay with being alone. You gotta not be so afraid of your own company. Be your own best friend. Because when you value and love yourself, being alone isn't scary. Another way to respect yourself is to defend yourself when people disrespect you and demand respect. When somebody treats you like shit, don't let them fucking get away with it. Now, there are some instances where defending yourself is just wasting your own energy. Know the time and place and what's worth fighting for, because I know a lot of toxic men will purposely push your buttons to get a reaction out of you. And the more you react, the more they're manipulating you, the more they're controlling you. When you demand respect and when you defend yourself, you put out to people that you're not going to be treated like shit. Because again, the more you respect yourself, the less comfortable people are with disrespecting you. And by the way, when you're on this journey, a lot of weak men and weak women are going to call you respecting yourself and loving yourself arrogant. They're going to call it stuck up. You just have to not listen to them. High maintenance is the term that manipulative, lazy, weak-ass men give women because they know that they could never measure up. I take high maintenance as a compliment. Next point is that you teach people how to treat you. I'm not saying this to try and victimize victim blame. Obviously, in the terms of toxic relationships, those people can be very manipulative, but we're just gonna get real here. You teach people how to treat you. When you forgive somebody for doing something, you're telling that person that whatever they just did is okay and they can get away with it as long as they say sorry or give you flowers or give you chocolates. You teach people how to treat you. I know so many girls that forgive their boyfriend or treating them like absolute garbage. They can get away with it if they just say sorry. Like, they don't even need to bring the flowers in or the chocolates or whatever. They just be like, sorry, Bob. They're like, oh, it's okay. Don't do that. You're teaching him that he's allowed to treat you like shit. You need to realize the role that you play in these shitty relationships. You need to respect yourself. That's not respecting yourself. Now, I understand my heart goes out to women that have been abused. I know it's not that simple, but you cannot lead a happier, more fulfilling life unless you start respecting yourself and start working towards better relationships with yourself, first and foremost. Another point of self-respect, which I do not want people to get twisted, because I said at the start of this very segment of self-respect that it has nothing to do with how many people you slept with. However, it does have everything to do with you sleeping with people who don't respect you. Do you see the difference? It's not how many people, it's you sleeping with people who don't respect you. You can sleep with 100 people, that's cool, as long as they're all respecting you, as long as they're all mature people, as long as they all have love for you and they treat you like a human. But if you're sleeping with somebody who is only using you for convenience, or if he's telling his boys how you were in bed, that isn't respecting yourself. Be careful with who you share yourself with. And that's not to say don't go out and have fun. Do that, but just be careful. Make sure that person respects you. Can you see now that self-respect is completely internal? Don't ever let people tell you that your external has anything to do with how you respect yourself. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you don't respect yourself. They don't get to determine that. You do. I could go on OnlyFans right now and shove a dildo up my ass for any paying customer to see, but that is completely irrelevant in the means of self-respect as long as I'm doing all of these things that I just mentioned. Why? Because my self-respect is up to me, which brings me to my third step to loving yourself, self-awareness. Now, I can tell you all these things, but none of them are going to stick or work if you can't or refuse to understand how you create these negative situations for yourself. There needs to be a level of responsibility and accountability. Now, again, it isn't a victim blame at all. At the end of the day, you make these choices. You make the choices to unblock your ex. You make the choice to talk shit about yourself to yourself instead of appreciating who you are. You make the choice to stay in bed all day. Now, again, I want to make it clear I understand mental health, and I want to quickly add that some days staying in bed is self-care. You make the choices to stay friends with people who have ill intentions. You make the choice to stay in that job that you absolutely hate. You know, you get the idea. Another very key point of self-awareness is realizing when you're the toxic person. Is your insecurity making you the abusive one? Now, abuse isn't always mean and physical and violent and scary. Most importantly, it's not always intentional. You're not a monster if you do these things, and your boyfriend's not a monster if he does these things. It's simply just the fact that you both need healing to do before you can love somebody. You just need that self-awareness to realize that you're treating somebody like shit, and then when you realize that, stop. And if you can't stop, break up with them. Stop putting somebody through that shit because you are afraid to be alone. Now, I know you love them, obviously, but it's not fair. If you really did love them, you wouldn't put them through that. So you need to ask yourself, and honestly ask yourself this: are you stopping your partner from seeing his mates because it makes you insecure? Are you controlling what your partner watches, what he wears, what he does, he or she, sorry? Are you manipulating situations to make yourself the victim? Are you guilt tripping people? Now, again, it doesn't always have to be intentional. You can do this without realizing it. Are you victimizing yourself in situations so that person has to drop everything and tend to you and take care of you? Are you demanding their full attention? Are you putting in a double standard, which means you're allowed to do something but he isn't, such as have girlfriends? Sorry, I'm really trying to make this gender neutral. You're allowed to do something and your partner isn't. You're allowed to go see your girlfriends, but he's not allowed to go have a boys' night. And if you find yourself relating to all of these but still giving excuses for yourself, you need to put yourself in their position. Would you like it if you were being treated this way? No, not at all. And if that doesn't work, then put yourself in your best friend's shoes. Would you like it if their partner told them that they weren't allowed to see you because they were insecure? No, you would be livid. Like, come on, be real. If your best friend was getting treated like that, would you be okay with it? No, you wouldn't. You would be livid. Would you like it if somebody told your best friend that she had to delete her Instagram or her Facebook or just any social media because her partner was insecure? No, you wouldn't like it. So don't do it to somebody else. If we as women want to stop getting abused, we must stop abusing ourselves. We're not innocent. We can be just as bad, and if not worse sometimes. Another point of self-awareness is realizing when you're the toxic person to yourself. Are you overthinking situations? Are you assuming worst case scenarios? Are you getting upset over things that haven't even happened yet? Stop. Again, like I said at the start, you have to think logically, and if you can't do that, assess from third person. Are you purposely putting yourself in a low vibrational mindset because it's comfortable? Because you're addicted to it, like I said at the start. The best way to become self-aware is to ask yourself those questions. What am I doing that is making my life the way it is? How can I fix this? What is my next step? To become self-aware and realize your own bullshit, you need to ask yourself those questions. So again, all of my main points from all of these: think logically, assess from third person, stop those negative thoughts in their tracks when you become aware of them, replace negative thoughts with positive, and when you can't replace them with positive, just replace them with neutral. You don't want to get to the point where you're just lying to yourself. It's okay to wake up in the morning and be like, fuck, I look like shit, but it's not okay to beat yourself up over it. It's normal, it happens. You don't have to lie to yourself and look in the mirror when you got your fucking bun over here and your mascara's down here saying, oh, I look beautiful, because sometimes you don't look beautiful. But just make it a joke, laugh at yourself, be like, I look fucked, and then move on. Self-discipline, actually do the things that you say that you're gonna do. Follow through with them and do things that are gonna make you feel good every single day, whether that be going on a nature walk, whether that be having a bath or doing a face mask or a motivational video, meditation, whatever makes you feel good, do it. For me, I like to rap and twerk in the mirror, and that makes me feel great. So to kind of conclude and just kind of say how I love myself and how I built this confidence, it's also because I'm not afraid to be disliked by people, and I'm very aware that I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. That's cool. I'm not afraid of people calling me arrogant or stuck up or self-obsessed because I love myself so much, because I'm not going to pretend to hate myself to make other people feel comfortable. Everybody always bangs on about how you have to love yourself and the importance of self-love and good vibes, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as somebody actually does love themselves, everybody hates it. Everybody judges it. They're like, oh my God, she's so arrogant. She's so up herself. I'm not afraid of people calling me arrogant because I know I'm not. I know I'm a great person. I know that I'm a super compassionate person. I know I'm so caring. I know I'm so understanding. I know I'm so open-minded. I could literally list you 10 positive things about myself right now because I love myself so much. And that's not from an arrogant way. Don't get it twisted. It's not, oh my God, I'm so much better than everyone. It's just, I love who I am because I've worked my fucking ass off to get here. Oh my God, I'm gonna get teary. I've never got how so many people preach self-love. As soon as somebody does, we hate that person. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna pretend to hate myself to make somebody feel comfortable. Why would I do that? Why would I dim my own light? And why would I make my own experience on this earth a lesser version of what it could be to make somebody else comfortable? To make somebody who doesn't even care about me comfortable? Why would I do that? Why are you doing that? And I'm also not afraid to lose people. The only person I'm afraid to lose is my motherfucking self, bitch. And I'm sorry, but there is not a bitch alive that I will put before myself ever again. I've done that enough in the past and I will never do that again. And why would I do that? Because I know my worth. I know the life that I want to live. And engaging with low vibrational situations, toxic people, self-hatred, all of that shit, I'm not gonna get that life by engaging in all of that. And you aren't either. The life that I want to live is not going to be achieved by sitting on my fucking ass and complaining about my life. That's not how it works. You cannot lead a positive life if you're just thinking negative and putting out negative energy, okay? You're not gonna do that either because I know you want a better life for yourself. So what's stopping you? The only thing that's stopping you is yourself. You are the only block. You are the only block in the road to success, to love, to live a prosperous, glamorous life. So just remove that block. My favorite saying that I tell people all the fucking time, the only barrier is the word can't. Get rid of that. Diminish it from your fucking vocab, because you can and you will, alright? We're all having a temporary human experience on this earth. So would I let the trivial, shallow shit get me down in life? No. Fuck no. We are only leveling up over here. Thank you all so much for watching yet another video. I really hope I could uplift or inspire some people or spark something in their minds that, you know, that makes them want to treat themselves a little bit better. I really hope that whoever watched this goes to bed tonight and thinks, you know, shit ain't all that bad. I'm not all that bad. I deserve a good life. Just any of that. I really hope that somebody can bring something positive out of this video and apply it to their lives. So my little task before I let you go is to list 10 things, non-physical, that you truly love about yourself. I want to make it a really big point that it's non-physical. Make it your traits. Make it something you do. Like I said before, I could name 10 things off the top of my head that I love about myself. Just write down 10 things that you truly fucking love about yourself that cannot be taken away from you. Anyway, sending my love, sending my light, sending positive vibrations your way. I will see you in my next video.